Hello, I'm Kevin, and as of today's recording, it is June 12th, 2024, and this is a video that I really wish I never had, never have to make, or never had to make, but this video is kind of an update to where I am in terms of my health and my cancer. So about a year ago, I put out a video called what's it called? It's called something like The Definitive Guide to My Cancer Story, in which for 16 minutes I talked about how I was diagnosed with brain cancer. I had surgery and then concurrent chemotherapy and radiation, and then a year of basically chemotherapy only. And when I finished it, I was very relieved, and my scans were stable, and so I made a video basically celebrating how I completed treatment, I was finishing school, and yeah, it went pretty well. And I didn't really have too many side effects other than the standard occasional nausea, fatigue, but those were all addressed by medication. And if you want to watch that video, I'll probably drop a link below. This year, I'm sad to say, I didn't quite hit the 1 year mark before I had a breakthrough seizure. So what I've done in the past year is basically during my cancer treatment, I graduated from school, from undergrad. I got a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and then I was looking for a job. So I came home, lived with my parents, and I found a job at a local laboratory about 30 minutes out from my house. And yeah, I found the job in November. So there was like a brief period of time where I was looking for a job, self-studying, playing video games, stuff like that. And from November onwards, I was working full-time as a contractor, a mechanical engineer position. So I was doing design work, scientific work, and it was a pretty cool physics / chemistry / instrumentation kind of project, and I really liked it. But in April, like 4 months, about 4.5, 5 months in April, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, I don't know why that popped into my head. Anyways, on April 9th, everything changed. I had a normal day at work, and then on the drive home, I had a breakthrough seizure. So at the time, I was on keppra, which is anti-seizure medication, 1,000 milligrams twice a day, and I've been on that since basically when I had my first seizure, back in December 2021, and yeah, I lost control of my body. I went to get my rescue, like emergency medication that would like calm me down and hopefully stop the seizure. But when I opened the bottle, like my hand was shaking so hard that it fell on the floor, and then I was just in the car, and then my foot just stamped down on the accelerator, and I couldn't control it. So the car obviously doesn't know what's going on, so it's accelerating as fast as it can, and I purposely aimed for a sign on the highway, and because I knew that if I didn't do it, if I didn't hit something soon, then I would accelerate faster, and then potentially, the damage would be greater. I could hit someone instead of something, and so I hit the sign, and then I just blacked out. So that was the worst seizure I had, and it was a very dramatic event for me, because I've never experienced that level of seizure before, where I completely lose control of half my body. And even now, I'm a little nervous thinking about it. So just taking a breath there, gathering my thoughts. Anyways, 2 days later, I saw my neuro-oncologist, and then I had another seizure when I was in his office, but this one was small. And basically what they did was they increased my dosage of medication, they added a new one, and they sent me home. And then 4 days later, I had another seizure. I was in the DMV actually, or not DMV. I was in the Social Security office, and I was going to apply for disability benefits, because after a seizure you can't drive for 1 year, so I had to quit my job, and yeah, so I'm considered disabled, but you have to apply to be labeled as legally disabled. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of, back and forth, phone calls, documentation, hospital records, stuff like that. And then I immediately started treatment. So I started a clinical trial combining 3 different drugs. One of them is called pembro something. It's also known as keppra. The other one is the standard TMZ, which I already took during my first treatment, and I hate it. And the third drug is called olaparib, which is currently being used for other cancers, but not brain cancer. So this clinical trial was evaluating the effects of a combination of drugs on brain tumors. So I was on that, and one of the medications, I don't know which one, caused me to vomit blood. So I had to go to the ER and get my stuff checked out. But thankfully it wasn't anything serious, and they were able to discharge me the same day. And then I was out of the ER for about a week and a half, and then on the Sunday following that, I had another seizure. And these seizures are like, I'm awake, I'm alert. It's very funny, or it's not funny, but it's very odd because I think when I'm having a seizure, I'm like the calmest person, even though I'm having a seizure. Like when people ask me questions or people ask my family questions, they're like freaking out and giving too much information, or like, yeah, it's basically like, how long has it been? And everyone's like, oh, I don't know, but I've been checking my watch, so I can give an answer. Or yeah, and then there was one time where uh, someone's like, oh, how old am I, or how old is he? And I remember my dad saying 24, but I'm still 23. My birthday's in August, so stuff like that. It's like small things, but I'm still very detail oriented. Um, and then a week after that, like when I started making my daily 5-minute vlogs, I was like, yeah, it's been over a week since I've been in the ER, which is good. And then the second day, I was supposed to start physical therapy, and I get a seizure in the morning, and I missed that appointment. I had to go to the ER, and then I stayed in the hospital overnight, because they wanted to monitor me with an EEG. So that's on video, or a portion of it is on video. Just go down to my channel and then look for day 2, and another seizure. It's a very popular video for some reason. I guess people like seeing the thumbnail of like me in a hospital gown for some reason. But anyways, yeah, like April was crazy. So throughout April, I've been on the clinical trial, and basically, they were like, okay, we're going to do another cycle of the clinical trial, and after that, we're going to do a whole day of scans. We're going to do a PET scan, MRI, EKG, EEG, or not EEG. I don't think I did one. What else did I do? Anyways, that doesn't really matter. So basically, on May 30th, I had a whole labs, scans, whatever they needed, to evaluate my current condition. And from that scan, they said, okay, it looks like the tumor is back, or the tumor has progressed, despite taking the clinical trial and increasing the anti-seizure medication and being put on steroids and all that stuff. So right now I'm doing a different treatment. I'm basically doing what I did last year, which is a second course of radiation, with concurrent chemotherapy, or chemodar, and then after basically 3 weeks of this, I'm currently doing radiation right now and concurrent chemodar. But basically in 3 weeks we'll evaluate whether it's gotten better or worse. But yeah, that's the current situation. So I went to work, and then I stopped working because I had a seizure, and then my cancer came back, I guess, most likely, and now I'm back on treatment. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up, except one thing to mention of note is that my entire right side after the seizure got much worse. So, I'm doing PT or physical therapy, I'm doing occupational therapy, and I just rewatched my video from a year ago, and I'm like, man, you don't know how good you have it, because you can type, you can walk, you can run. Yeah, if I knew I was gonna have to do it all over again, which I wish I didn't, but if I knew, I would have prepared better. But life, hindsight is always 20/20. There's nothing you can really do about it until you really smack it in the face or you experience it in the moment. But yeah, I'm going to keep making videos, keep living life as best as I can, try to stay healthy, and also I'll be doing Ghostface Season 5. So that's another video. Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope this answers a lot of your questions, or at least gives you a good sense of where I am. And I'll probably do an update video, like, about after the MRI, I guess. I think it'll be 3 weeks after I finish radiation, because radiation causes swelling, causes a lot of different things. So there's no point in doing an MRI like immediately after or during radiation. But yeah, we'll see. I'm also, I forgot to mention avastin, which is like an injection once every 3 weeks. And I'll be doing that after radiation as well. So the current plan is avastin, radiation, and chemotherapy, and afterwards, after 3 weeks, it's avastin and potentially a different chemotherapy. I think my doctor said something like CCNU or BCU or lomustine or something like that. But yeah, this is just an update on my cancer, which I never want to be making. But here we are. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully in a couple weeks with hopefully good news. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, see you.